Hi, and welcome to Carolina Varsity's Week 2 of the 2013 football season. I'm Dale Ross, aka Dale Ross, and this is...
I'm Matt Morrow, aka Pitman.
And so we're here to give you information on Week 2 and what happened in Week 1 and what is coming up in Week 2.
Alright, we're going to take a look at some of the Week 1 games here. We're going to start out with the game Dale went to, which was a pretty good game. Olympic beat Marsh 37-34. Dale, you want to talk about what you saw?
I had plans to go to the Olympic game first half and come over to visit you at Providence for second half because we kind of thought that was going to be a real big game, and turned out that one was not quite so big, and I was in a back and forth game. Yeah. Literally Marsh Park scores, Olympic scores, and it was just back and forth. Kind of my call before the game was that Olympic would need to run and maybe establish some passing, and just the reverse for Marsh Park, and true to form both teams did that. They both ended up with about the same amount of total offense. Olympic had 232 yards rushing, whereas Marsh Park had 219 passing. And then on the flip side, I think Olympic was like 136 passing, and Marsh Park was somewhere around 120 yards rushing. Most of that on the back of Alexander. The game I thought it was a well-played game, especially to be a first night game. Marsh Park was not in disarray like some people might have thought, getting Stein in late and trying to get established. I saw some Sun Valley faces on the Marsh Park sideline, so he's gotten some good help in, and really the game came down to a 4th and 4, right at the 4, and Marsh Park had the ball down 37-34. And Stein decided to go for it, and the Olympic defense put pressure on the quarterback. Quarterback made a bad throw, and that was pretty much the end of the game. Just some takeaways for me. I think Marsh Park is going to be a lot tougher maybe than I initially thought they would be. Big line, they've got good size all the way across, and a lot of skill. And I think once they get in sync with that Stein offense, they're going to be pretty potent on offense. The defense was not too bad. They have a little work to do. On the flip side, Olympics offense, they tell me, was at a better performing point this point in the season than it was last year. And their defense is at a better point than it was this time last year. So, they have hopes that they'll be improving as well. So look for both these teams, I think, to have pretty good years, and don't be surprised to see Marsh Park causing some of these guys in the upper half of the conference to have a little sweat to pour out on them.
I had Marsh Park as a sleeper for those reasons. A lot of offensive talent. I figured they would show well here, but Olympic is a very good team in their own right, and they pulled that one out. I was at Huff Providence, as Dale mentioned earlier. Huff won this one 34-21, and they really came out in the gate strong, and they delivered a knockout punch early to Providence. They got up 27-0 by the late second quarter, and the Providence fans were really just kind of stunned and kind of shocked. There was a huge crowd there, a huge home crowd, and obviously with all the anticipation of Coach Harden coming in, and attitudes getting better about the program. There's a couple star players that we've mentioned before, and Kroll and Bentley Spain up front. But I'll tell you, what got Huff the lead was a very strong performance by their defensive line. Providence tried to come out and establish the run. Their first drive, they got 1 first down, then they had to punt. And then subsequently, they were going 3 and out, maybe get 1 first down the next drive and punt. They didn't get the ball past midfield that I remember in the first half till late, and they scored right before halftime to make it 27-7. When Huff had the ball, story was Tyler Morrell, running back, number 7. Apparently, he wasn't scheduled to be their starting running back, but after that performance, I think he is. This kid ran hard. He was fast. He got into space. He made plays. He ran people over. He was hard to bring down. He scored 4 touchdowns on the night. 3 of those came in the first half. Ended the night with 183 yards on double check here. Let me try to get this right. 23 carries, 183 yards, and 4 touchdowns. It's a heck of a performance.
Not a bad night.
So, like I was saying, 27-7 at the halftime. Second half, Providence got back in the game. They got a score to make it 27-14. Crowd started to get into it a little bit. They forced a Huff punt on their first possession of the second half, but once Providence cut to 13, Huff answered with a really good drive. They started running the ball again on them, and Morrell scored his 4th touchdown there to push it to 34-14. It stayed that way until early 4th quarter. Providence made an interception when Huff was driving down in the red zone. The kid picked it off, ran it back about 85 yards for a touchdown. That was a big play. You were starting to feel like maybe Providence could push it and get it closer, but that Huff defense just shut them down. Their defensive line was very impressive. Brandon Casarino, number 88, Ronald Albert, number 99 up front. They really caused a lot of havoc, and they beat up a good offensive line in Providence. They could not get movement consistently. Pass blocking, they had trouble. They were putting pressure on Caleb York, the Providence quarterback, and it made it a long night. And Huff's going to be a real tough out. And Providence is I still think they're going to be a good team in their own right.
Well, they're my dark horse pick for the Southern Mac 8.
Right.
And I don't see anything happening there in that first night that's going to change that.
Yeah.
I expect that will evolve through the season.
Yeah. Now we're going to recap some other games here. Butler defeated West Charlotte 80-20. This game caused a little bit of controversy in its own right. We've talked a lot about that on the forums, about what Coach Hales decided to do with pulling his number 2 guys and putting the starters back in. We've talked about that enough. The biggest thing in this game, Butler did pretty much what we expected them to do here.
Exactly, and unfortunately for West Charlotte, they did about what we expected they would do as well. So.
Next game, we'll take a look at West Mecklenburg defeated East Mecklenburg 69-0. It's another one of those situations where we kind of expected this could get out of hand. West Meck with all their offensive talent. Sean Wilson had a huge game, 6 total touchdowns overall. East Mecklenburg, they're kind of down. You have some guys going both ways, and it's kind of tough to win against good teams when you're in that situation.
Exactly. East doesn't have any really playmakers, and they don't have the numbers to contend with any of the teams in the upper level. And from what some words I'm hearing, it might be a tough for them even with the bottom level teams as well. So. Hopefully they pull it together, and someone made a comment about pull all the kids up off JV and put them on varsity, and I said no,
That's not how you
keep a JV. You do not build a team. Exactly.
In the Bell game, which is a lot earlier this year, Concord defeated A.L. Brown 25-14. My prediction, I figured it may be a 1-2 score game in a rival. You never can tell what happens, but A.L. Brown, they're kind of a little down for A.O. Brown standards. Concord got the win in that one behind Rocky Reed, who scored a couple touchdowns in the run game.
Well, Concord's got the athletes, and they had to win last year in a close game, and Brown's a little more down this year. I actually thought this game had the potential to get a little further out. It's about what I predicted myself, but it had the potential to get a little further out, so I think maybe a little credit to Newsom and crew for not letting that happen. This is, Concord's, this might be another good year for Concord.
And the last game we're going to take a look at in this segment is North Mecklenburg defeating Lake Norman 28-26, and this one was a surprise for me. I took a look at Lake Norman, and North Meck in a scrimmage, and they looked like they were going to have a tough year. But obviously, preseason, like we said in our earlier videos, you work your kinks out, you get better, and you learn from your mistakes. And a lot of credit goes to Coach Baker at North Meck for improving his team in a short amount of time, getting a good win against a rival.
I agree. I picked Lake Norman to win this game. I thought maybe even Lake Norman might do it by 1 to 2 scores. So North Meck showed us a little something here. Maybe not a total shocker, but I think a fairly big surprise to me as well.
All right. And stay tuned for part 2 of our recap coming up shortly.
Thank you.